In my internship, something that I do basically every week is write stories for the Local 4 website, clickondetroit.com. Writing stories, in addition to the hard news articles, helps create engagement and a feeling of community surrounding Local 4. It also helps show the public that WDIV values the dissemination of information in all mediums, not just TV. For example, we have just launched our All for Pets community, which deals with all things pet related, so my boss has assigned me to write a story about anything I want relating to pets. She wants it to be a quick, bullet point formatted story that will help breeders with their pets. First, I have to brainstorm about what I want to write the story about. So after doing a little research online, I've decided to write a piece on what to look for in a good pet sitter. So then I have to take some notes, so I usually head over to some reputable sources like PetMD and just take some notes on what I think might be useful in my article. I also head over to the Humane Society so I can cross-check my facts. After I've taken some notes, I start drafting. Usually I just work in Microsoft Word, and this is the draft that I came up with when I originally did the project. The biggest challenge with these type of stories is getting the point across in 2 or 3 sentences per bullet point. These articles are not the time for paragraphs of research information and colorful language. They need to be accessible to as many people as possible. Because I am a fairly detailed writer, it has definitely taken some getting used to, and this article especially took me a while to condense into what it is now. So after I've typed up the draft, I will go through and edit it myself before I then enter it into our system so that my boss can view it. We use EndPlay, which is a program that allows you to save stories as drafts and then eventually publish them onto clickondetroit.com. So I will come up and create a story, and then it will allow me to choose a template based on where the story will end up once it's published to the website. So for this one, I will hit Community. I've already entered all the information for this video, so here you can see I've put in the headline, the subheadline, the dateline, a photo for the story, the abstract, and the actual body of the story. So once everything is entered, including my source links, and I have entered the topic keywords, which will help for SEO, I can come up and save the story as a draft for my boss to then look at. Once my boss has viewed the story, she will then give me some feedback. For example, I originally had all these blue source links at the end of each bullet point, but she told me to change up where they were in the bullet point. So some of them are now in the center, some are in the beginning, and some are at the end. She also thought that some of my sentences were a bit unnecessary, so I went through and deleted any that were in the way of the main message so that the final product would be clear and concise. So after I've made all the changes that she suggested, I can resave it as a draft and ask her to look over it once more. She's the only one with publishing privileges, so she has to approve the final product before it can be put up onto the website. So then my boss will publish the story onto clickondetroit.com for anybody to see. So here it is. This is the final story. This is our Local 4 website, and this is the finished product. Once the article is on Click on Detroit, anybody can see it. The intended audience is really the general public, but specifically those who live in or near Detroit. I can also send the link to anyone who I want to see my story. Writing these kinds of articles really helped me to build a skill set that not all PW students have. Creating articles specifically for the news is a whole new genre of writing, and learning how to be brief, concise, and clear has been definitely tough in some ways, but ultimately very useful. It has also been great practice in researching for stories and getting the chance to separate the legitimate sources from less trustworthy sites. As far as this article goes, my boss can see how many clicks each story on the website gets, which is kind of how we numerically evaluate each story on the site. And she told me that this one in particular got a lot of clicks and is doing really well. So I'm definitely proud of this article. I think it turned out really nice, and it definitely shows my improvement in this area of writing. I think all the preparation I did for this and the work I did to make the story nice and concise definitely paid off.